I wake up to the sound of the alarm softly ringing beside the bed. At first, I don't want to get up. The warmth of sleep pulls me back into its embrace, but I know I have to wake up earlier than usual today. I hear Sarah moving around already. She got up earlier, as always, even though she's never been a morning person. Sarah has an important meeting today, and her energy this early is impressive. She's already up, checking her bag, searching for the final documents, and clearing her mind of anything unnecessary for the trip. I turn to my side and watch her get ready quickly, glancing at her watch and the fresh cup of coffee I had left for her on the table the night before. She walks up to the mirror, quietly fixing her hair, making sure she looks her best for the meeting. Her movements are precise, confident. She's always so organized, so focused. I, of course, lie there and feel a little more relaxed, comparing her routine to my own. Wake up, stretch, sip coffee, check emails. That's my typical morning rhythm. I'm not rattled when a normal day starts. My mornings are usually calm, without urgency, without anxiety. Today should be the same. As always, we exchange a few kind words as she grabs her bag, standing on the threshold of the room, ready to leave. I won't be late. Don't worry. It's an important meeting, but everything will be fine, she says, throwing me a glance before stepping into the pre-dawn hustle. I nod and smile. That was her strength, of course, being organized, being confident in herself. She promises to be back by evening, and I watch her close the door behind her. Sarah is gone, and I stay home, slowly feeling the silence settle in. There's no sound of her laughter, no quick movements, no sharp instructions. I'm alone again like every morning, and to be honest, I like it. This is my time, my quiet time, when I can think, start the day slowly without rush or chaos. I sit at the kitchen table, sipping my coffee, feeling the day begin without any unnecessary worries. Everything is just as it always is. But suddenly, a few hours later, as I head to the car to drive to work, something stops me. I open the car door and find an unusual lighter on the front seat. It's not mine, nor is it her usual lighter. I know for sure that Sarah always carries her old lighter, the one that has been her favorite for years, and I've seen it in the car countless times. This one looks completely different, brand new, with engravings I don't recognize. I pick it up, look at it closely, and then hold it in my hands again. What is this lighter? Whose is it? Why is it here? Maybe someone just left it there, or perhaps it's just a coincidence. But something doesn't sit right with me. I start reasoning. Maybe it was left by one of her friends, or perhaps it's just a small mistake. Yet, the thoughts won't leave me. This lighter doesn't resemble anything we're used to seeing. I glance at it in my hands a few more times, trying to find a logical reason for why it's here. And the more I think about it, the more it feels like this could be a sign of something bigger, something I hadn't noticed before. Maybe I'm just overthinking, but then why do I feel this unease? Something isn't right. Why am I even having doubts about this? All these questions start piling up. I try to calm myself down, convincing myself that it doesn't mean much, that it could all just be a coincidence. But for some reason, at that moment, holding the lighter in my hands, I feel doubts slowly taking over. Over and over, I ask myself if I really believe this is just a coincidence. Should I pay attention to it? But in the end, I try to set these thoughts aside, believing it means nothing. I place the lighter back on the seat, yet I can't help but feel it matters. Though it might be nothing, I can't shake the feeling that something deeper is going on. I sit at home, enjoying the silence after Sarah left. The morning was ordinary, without surprises. I finished my coffee, scrolling through old photos on my phone, browsing social media. Everything feels calm, even dull. I'm glad the day started this way. But then Jason calls. My best friend. His voice on the other end is shaky, and it immediately makes me uneasy. Mark, I don't know how to say this, but I saw your wife yesterday. And not with just anyone, but with a man I didn't recognize. I freeze for a few seconds, unsure of how to respond. What do you mean? I ask, trying not to let him hear how nervous I'm starting to feel. Jason sounds hesitant, unsure how to convey what he's saying. You know, we work near each other. I was in the area she's often in, and I saw her with a man. She was walking with him, and she looked like she knew him. I don't know who he was, but he definitely didn't look like just a casual acquaintance. Jason's words replay in my head, and I feel my chest tighten. It doesn't make sense. Sarah has always been open and honest with me. This has to be a small misunderstanding, nothing more. But then, why did Jason sound so troubled? Why wasn't this just a passing observation? I try to push the thoughts aside and say, maybe it's not what you think. Maybe you're mistaken. But Jason doesn't respond right away. He still sounds uneasy, and there's even more doubt in his voice. I'm not sure, Mark, but I definitely saw them together, and they weren't just passing by. They look like people who've known each other for a while. I still don't want to believe it could be true, but the doubts start creeping in, pulling me down, making it impossible to stay calm. This is my friend, and I know he wouldn't say something like this without a reason. I want to say it's impossible, that it's just a coincidence, but something about Jason's words unsettles me. My wife shouldn't have anything to hide, so why does Jason seem so certain about what he's saying? All right, I'll think about it. If it's something serious, I'll talk to you. I try to stay calm, but my mind is already racing, replaying everything I might have missed before. Right after the call, I toss my phone onto the table and stare at the empty spot in the room where Sarah and I often sit together. Leaving all these thoughts behind, I feel my intuition urging me to take the next step. I reach for her phone, which she left on the table. I know this might seem strange, a violation of trust, but why do I feel like it's the only way to find out the truth? My finger instinctively presses the screen, and I open her messages. I can't believe I'm doing this, but the suspicions have taken such a firm hold in my mind that I can't stop. I know Sarah wouldn't hide anything serious from me, but why does it feel like something is changing? Suddenly, my eyes land on one message, the most recent one. I grip the phone tightly, reading it over and over again. A text from an unknown number. I'll be waiting for you today. You know where. Those few words ignite a storm of doubt inside me. I read it several times, as if hoping it doesn't mean what I think it does. Maybe it's a joke, maybe it's just an out-of-place text. But then why does this man write to her, as if they're meeting on a personal level? All my previous doubts now feel like reality. They were just a premonition of something bigger, and now, seeing these words, I understand something is wrong. This isn't an ordinary meeting. This is something more. I put the phone back on the table, feeling a surge of unease growing into outright anxiety. Questions immediately flood my mind. Who is this man? What is she hiding from me? Is there something I don't know about our relationship? What else might I have overlooked? I stand there, holding a cup of coffee in my hands, staring at her empty spot at the table where she usually sits. I can't fool myself anymore. I have doubts, and I need to find out more. I sit at the table, staring at the phone. Sarah is gone, and I'm left alone in the quiet apartment, filled with her absence. Usually, I wouldn't pay attention to small things like this, but after Jason's call, something changed. I've started to doubt. Sarah is my wife, and I don't want to believe what my friend told me. But at the same time, I can't just let it go. My finger instinctively reaches for her phone, which she left on the kitchen table. I don't respect my own emotional intuition as I decide to open her tracking app. I know this might seem wrong, but I feel like I need to see more. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I can't leave these suspicions unresolved. The app launches, and I see the location of her phone. Her dot on the map is moving. At first, she's just leaving the office, and I feel a small sense of relief. But then her route changes. She's heading somewhere else, not home, not a familiar area. Something feels off. My hands tremble as I watch her movements on the screen. She's driving into an area I'd never expect her to go. She's heading toward a business district, but I know she has no work meetings there. My doubts start turning into real anxiety. What could this mean? Sarah has always been incredibly responsible, and I've never had a reason to doubt her honesty. But now I don't know what to think. I check her location on the map again and again. She's pulling up to a hotel. Why is she there? How did she end up at such a place? I'm at a loss for words. My heart races faster, and I feel every cell in my body demanding answers. Does she have something to hide from me? Is there someone else she's spending time with? Every move she makes on the map seems deliberate, as if she knows exactly where she's going. She stops near the entrance to the hotel. Her car slows down and comes to a halt. I stand there, staring at the screen, clenching my teeth. My heart is pounding uncontrollably. I don't know what to do, but I feel this moment changing everything. My mind refuses to believe what I'm seeing, but my emotions are spiraling out of control. She must have known I'd be watching her, and that only deepens my suspicion. If it's a business meeting, why didn't she tell me about it? Why am I finding out through an app? I try to pull myself together, but every new step she takes on the map pushes me to act. I have to go there. I can't just sit and wait. I have to see it all with my own eyes. And if it's true, if everything confirms my fears, I don't know what I'll do. I get up, glancing at the clock, 12:45. It's decided. I'll grab my car keys and drive there. If she won't come clean on her own, I'll find out the truth myself. And though my heart and mind are in chaos, I know I can't ignore this. I have to understand, and, if necessary, I'll uncover everything to the very end. Ось переклад вашего тексту английскую. I can't take my eyes off the phone screen. Watching Sarah, I feel my anxiety growing with each passing minute. I don't know why I keep tracking her, why I don't just go home and forget about it. But the more I watch, the less I can let it go. She arrived at the hotel. I see her parking in the lot near the entrance. My heart races as she steps out of the car and walks toward the doors. Every step she takes on the asphalt feels like a hammer pounding in my chest. My mind is entirely focused on what she's doing. I can't understand why I'm so nervous. Maybe it's all just a coincidence, something that doesn't mean anything. Maybe it's work-related. Maybe she's meeting someone from her job. But somehow, I feel like that's not the case. I feel like this isn't just a business meeting. As Sarah enters the hotel, I pause for a few seconds, trying to decide what to do next. My nerves are starting to tear me apart. Why am I so worried? I start asking myself, what am I doing here? I don't respect myself for this, but I can't ignore it. I have to know more. I stand there on the sidewalk trying to stay unnoticed. My mind is tearing me apart. Is this just a coincidence, or is it something much more serious that I've completely missed? She walks into the hotel lobby, and I simply can't stop myself. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I can't believe that I'm actually following her. We've always been open with each other, always trusted each other. But why do I feel like this moment is going to change everything? I stand at the hotel doors, unsure of what to do next. Sarah walks inside. My heart races faster, and I feel cold sweat forming on my forehead. She stops to exchange a few words with the security guard, and I remain there, watching. I don't know how much time has passed, but every minute feels endless. I look through the hotel window and suddenly see Sarah heading toward the elevator. And then I see him. It's Jason, my best friend, the man I trust more than anyone. I see him walking toward Sarah, and it shocks me. My blood freezes, and all I feel is a sharp pain tearing through my heart. I freeze, my legs refusing to move, unable to believe what I'm seeing. They stand together by the elevator as if nothing is happening, as if this is just an ordinary day, as if they aren't just acquaintances but old friends who have no trouble meeting in a place like this. I feel my mind beginning to block out the sight, my eyes refusing to believe what they see. They're laughing, talking, completely unaware that I'm standing here, watching them. Everything I ever knew, everything I thought I was certain of, my family, my friendship, it all falls apart before my eyes. The feeling of betrayal consumes me. My best friend and my wife. This is something I could never have imagined. What is happening? How could this be? My hands begin to shake, and my heart races uncontrollably, unable to handle the emotional storm. I see them embrace, and then they step into the elevator together. They aren't trying to hide it, not even the slightest bit of shame. This shocking revelation shatters my reality. I can't stop my thoughts. My emotions are a whirlwind of pain, seething anger, and utter shock. I feel my entire body tense, every movement becoming heavier. I stand there powerless, unable to move. My thoughts can't hold everything together, and I feel my reality crumbling. Every moment I thought had meaning now feels meaningless. My wife, my friend, everything I've ever wanted, everything I've ever believed in now feels empty. I can't believe this is happening to me. I begin to understand. Everything I feared has become reality. I stand at the threshold of the hotel room, every cell in my body tense. My mind can't process what I'm seeing and hearing. It's all happening so fast, so irrevocably. I take a breath, but the air feels too thick, too heavy to breathe. My heart pounds in my chest so hard, it feels like it could be heard at the other end of the hallway. I push open the door and see them. My wife and my best friend sitting on the bed. They both look at me, their eyes filled with horror and disbelief. I freeze for a moment, realizing this isn't just betrayal. This is the complete collapse of everything I've ever wanted and believed in. I can't hold myself back anymore. My emotions explode like thunder in a clear sky. Anger, frustration, pain, they all weave into a torrent of words that pour out uncontrollably. My voice booms with a fury that feels unstoppable. You betrayed me with my best friend? How could you? How could you both? I shout, my words cutting through me like blades, slicing at my already broken heart. My legs barely hold me up as I struggle to take a step forward. I still can't believe my eyes. This is happening right now, here in front of me. Sarah can't look me in the eye. Her face is a mixture of confusion and fear, but it changes nothing. I feel my heart shatter at what I'm seeing and hearing. This can't be real. My mind refuses to accept it, but my body feels every bit of this harsh reality. I turn my gaze to Jason, my friend, my companion, who has now become part of this nightmare. His face is just as shocked, but he has no words to justify his actions. How could he explain what has happened? His eyes avoid mine, and that only confirms everything. He betrayed me in a way no one else could. I feel the anger consume me even further, and I can't stop it. I want to step closer, to yell, to break everything around me, but I just stand there broken. Words no longer matter because I realize it's all destroyed. I don't know what to do or how to move forward from this. Sarah gets up, trying to approach me, but I step back, refusing to let her touch me. She struggles to find the words, but I see her lips trembling, searching for any way to justify her actions. Her eyes are wet, but she can't hide the truth that's right in front of me. Mark, please listen to me. Her voice quivers. It was a mistake. Just once. I don't know why it happened, but it wasn't serious. It was just a confused decision. I'm so sorry. Her words feel so hollow. I try to find any meaning in them, but I can't. It's all just an attempt to justify the unjustifiable. All these phrases, they're just words, and they can't bring me back, can't restore what I've lost. Just once? I repeat her words with irony, disbelief filling my voice. My anger flares up again, and I yell, "You think I'll believe that? This wasn't just one time. It's something you've been hiding from me. It wasn't nothing. It was betrayal. and it's unforgivable. Sarah tries to explain, but every word she says only deepens the pain. She tries to say it was because of our relationship, that she didn't know how to talk to me, that it was a mistake made in a moment of weakness. But I can't listen anymore. I feel her words piercing deeper into my heart, tearing it apart even further. You have the audacity to stand here and tell me it was a mistake? You cheated on me with my best friend, and you still want me to understand? I feel the pain, anger, and betrayal tearing me apart. I don't know what to do or what to say. All my emotions overwhelm me, and I feel like the walls around me are crumbling. I just stand there, unsure if there's even a chance left for us. Sarah tries to come closer, her hands reaching out toward me, but I can't listen to her. I just want this all to end. I can't take it anymore. Sarah sits in front of me, her face hollow and her eyes still brimming with tears. She takes a few deep breaths, trying to calm herself, but her trembling hands resting on her lap betray her nervous state. The silence between us is heavy. She can't meet my gaze, and I feel my heart breaking over what I've just learned. And yet, something inside me compels me to listen, even though I don't want to hear any more. She looks at me with regret, her voice trembling as she speaks. Mark, there's something else you need to know, but it's not what you think. I pause, trying to process her words. Something else? How can there possibly be more? My eyes fill with doubt and disappointment. 1,000 thoughts race through my mind, and I can't even pinpoint what shocks me more, her betrayal or what she's about to say next. Sarah lifts her head, trying to meet my gaze, and her voice turns serious. Mark, you have to understand, what happened wasn't an accident. I didn't do this to hurt you or destroy everything we've built. I did it because I felt like you were drifting away from me. You didn't notice how I was losing your attention. You were becoming more and more preoccupied, and I was at my breaking point. I didn't know what else to do. She pauses for a moment, and I see her shoulders shuddering as if she's trying not to cry. Her words are so illogical and painful to me that I can't believe them. How could she justify this? How can betrayal be explained as part of a plan? My anger and frustration only grow. She continues, her voice steadier but laden with a heavy tone. I knew it was a risk. I knew you would hate me for it, but I couldn't let us keep going the way things were. I wanted to make you feel something, to make you see how important it is to me that you pay attention to me again. My head spins. I try to make sense of her reasoning, but it doesn't add up. How can I believe what she's saying? She did this to get my attention? To make me notice her? It all feels so absurd and unreal. How can someone betray their partner to save the relationship? My hands clench into fists, and I feel the anger surge through my body once again. I try to find answers to my questions, but none come. You thought that cheating would make me more interested in you? That I would realize how important you are to me because of this? How could you do this? I shout, feeling the disappointment filling my heart. I stand there, frozen, unable to comprehend what she just said. Her words crash down on me, but I can't grasp their meaning. They can't be true. How could she think this was the only way? How could she believe that deception and betrayal could ever justify this? Are you serious? I throw the words at her, my voice cold, though inside me, anger boils. You betrayed me because you felt I was drifting away, and now you're trying to explain that this was necessary to save our relationship? How can you say that after all of this? My words come out like blows, relentless reminders that I cannot forgive this. Sarah tries to explain again, but each word she says tears my soul apart. She's trying to convince me it was nothing more than an attempt to change our relationship, to show me she needed my attention, that we had lost our connection. She doesn't realize that in this moment, she's already lost everything. She's already lost my trust. Her words sound like another bluff, an attempt to justify the unjustifiable. How can I forgive such betrayal, even if she says it was her last chance for us? I look at her, and I no longer recognize the person in front of me. This isn't the woman I loved. This isn't the person I thought was my rock. I feel like a stranger in my own life, and my heart pounds so hard I can't even gather my thoughts. My hands are clenched, and I feel like I'm about to explode with rage and despair. None of her words make sense, and I feel them tearing me apart from the inside. I don't know how to live after this. How can you ever reclaim what was destroyed by this one tragedy? I stand before her, and everything around me becomes incomprehensible. My heart aches with pain, but I can't force myself to believe there's still a chance to restore what we once had. I see her standing there, the woman I loved, the woman I thought was my forever, and now it all just feels empty. She's standing in front of me, her eyes filled with tears, her hands reaching out to me, but I can't take it anymore. She's tried to explain everything, but every word only deepens the pain. I can't listen to these excuses any longer. She betrayed me, and I realize I can no longer be with her. I can't stay with someone who made me feel this way. It's over. My words come out firm, though inside me, a storm rages. I can't be with you anymore. I look at her, and my soul aches. My hands are clenched into fists, and I feel every muscle in my body tense with the weight of this decision. I don't want to see her anymore. I can't. I can't turn back time. Sarah tries to step closer to me, her voice breaking as she pleads. Mark, please don't do this. I love you. You're the only one who matters to me. I made a mistake. Forgive me. All these words, all of it feels like a mask, an attempt to regain control of the situation, but I can't believe it anymore. I push her away, and even that feels like the end, like the last piece I'm leaving behind. I point toward the door, and no matter how much she begs, I can't forgive her. Go. I don't want to see you anymore. I don't want anything to do with you. She stands there, looking at me, her eyes full of shattered hope. I feel a pang of pain in my heart, but I know this is the only right step for me. She slowly turns and walks away without looking back, leaving behind an emptiness I know I can no longer fill. I can't just sit and stay silent. I feel my emotions finally breaking free, and I don't have the strength to hold them back. I pick up my phone, my heart pounding wildly as I dial Jason's number. This is my friend, my closest friend, and he betrayed me. I can't stand silently any longer. You're no longer my friend, I say, my voice shaking. Each word carries anger, despair, and pain. You didn't just betray me as a husband. You betrayed me as a friend. I can't trust you anymore. I don't want anything to do with you. You've destroyed everything I thought mattered. My hand trembles as I say these words. He was always by my side, and I never imagined this moment would come. I always believed we could get through anything together, but he betrayed me. I know this is the end of our friendship, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but it has to be done. I hear silence on the other end of the call, but I don't wait for an explanation. I don't want to hear his apologies anymore. My soul is shattered, and I can no longer allow anyone who has betrayed my trust to remain in my life. My resolve hardens. You betrayed me, and I can't trust you anymore. Get out of my life, I say, and as the silence on the other side lingers, I end the call. I stand in the room, feeling all my connections, all my routines collapsing. Everything I feared has become reality. I don't know if I have the strength to move forward. Everything I once loved no longer matters. And I realize I can't live like this anymore. This is the final decision, and this is the end. I sit on the couch, surrounded by silence. My gaze is empty, and my mind feels clouded. The pain of betrayal and disappointment doesn't leave me. But the longer I sit in this void, the more I realize I finally let go of what was dragging me down. Sarah, Jason, everything that happened between us, it's now part of a past I can't change. I look at the empty space where her bag used to be, where just hours ago we laughed, shared our days, where everything was as it had always been. Now it's all gone. I feel the emptiness swallowing me, but at the same time, there's a sense of freedom. I am free. It's not what I wanted, but now I feel like I can start again. I sigh, my shoulders dropping. I don't want to sit here any longer in this place that has now become a symbol of loss. All these emotions that have built up like a bomb ready to explode. I rise from the couch, bending down to grab my shoes. My hand trembles as I put them on. This isn't just stepping out of the house. It's stepping out of everything I once knew. I open the door and pause for a moment. My eyes fall on old friends, photos on the wall, souvenirs from trips that remind me of times when everything was different. They no longer hold the same meaning they once did. I realize my life has changed. All my beliefs, all my faith in people have been shattered. But this is also an opportunity to begin anew. I don't know what lies ahead, but I'm ready to find out. Remembering everything, I decide I won't stay in a world where betrayal and pain dictate my life. I leave behind everything that caused this hurt. Closing the door, I take the first step toward a new life. I step outside. The cold air wraps around me, but I feel each breath filling me with strength. The city around me feels both unfamiliar and new. I begin to walk, not knowing exactly where I'm going, but with the feeling that I'm leaving behind my old reality. I'm not afraid. Maybe this is the beginning of something greater. As the knots in my soul begin to unravel, I can't help but notice that with each step, I feel closer to myself. It no longer matters who I was. What matters now is who I will become. And though my heart still aches, I know that each step is a step toward freedom. I keep moving forward, leaving behind what no longer holds me. In my mind, the words echo over and over. This is not the end. It's just the beginning. But then, in the darkest moment of my night, as I walk through the empty city, I suddenly stop. Deep down, I feel like someone is watching me. My hand instinctively reaches for my phone, but I don't pick it up. It can't be. Maybe it's just another shadow in the darkness. I walk forward quickly, but the feeling that I'm not alone doesn't leave me. Is it just fear, or is it something more? I don't know. Looking back, I realize I'm not alone, but I can no longer let fear control my life. The choice has been made, and though uncertainty lies ahead, I'm no longer afraid to move forward. This is the beginning of a new path.